There we go.
Hey, welcome to the Bob and Tam Show tonight. We are live from Las Vegas, Nevada.
We're back in Vegas. Vegas, baby.
Where nobody sleeps, and the casinos have no clocks. They have no windows in them, so you can see out. They pump oxygen in there, so all night long you have no freaking idea
what time it is. They just want you on and playing and spending your money. Some Jim's on. Hey there, Some Jim. How you doing? And then we're not. Remember what happens in Vegas.
That's what they say. Now, we haven't really done a whole lot here. We've had another catastrophe with the car, which...
that poor rental car went through a lot this trip.
Yeah, and we are waiting till probably in the next couple of days I'll have that out. We have a lot of stuff that's going to be happening. Looks like the garage, I'm going to be putting the water in probably Thursday or Friday. Probably more like Friday and Saturday. Put the water in, we'll show you a little bit of that while I'm doing that. Seen a lot of people that said they want to see more of what we're doing in the garage. Just bought a brand new toolbox, which we won't be here till December. Holy Jennifer,
they said probably the first of the year.
Yeah, which is fine. It's not that big a deal. I got a bag of, I don't know if we're going to be doing anything before we head out in Daytona.
We just turned on. Daniel, he says, I'm doing all right. How about you guys? I'm just catching up with you guys right now. Well, we just came on. We've been going less than a minute.
Yeah.
So you haven't missed much.
Yeah. So we got some great videos coming up. She actually wants to invite a bunch of you out. She wanted to do a 30-day ride. I'm like, I don't know if I could afford a 30-day ride. But we rode the coast of Oregon and most of California. And believe me, I couldn't. Oregon was really good ride. We're going to show you some videos on that. We're going to talk about what we've seen, what we liked, what we didn't like. We're going to talk a little bit about California. We didn't get down as far as I really wanted to go down to California. But
just north of San Francisco, and then we cut across.
Yeah, we didn't go down as far as I'd like to go. Normally, I always go down to Muir Forest. A lot more vehicles out there compared to what it was. Well, actually, we were looking at it about 12 years ago when we rode it apart.
It was 2010.
And that we took up there and did that ride, and there was hardly nobody on it. Now you can't believe, well, it's like anything else. Everybody's moving everywhere. So a lot more of that vacant coastline has got houses on it. And
not like what we remember.
Yeah, there's sometimes you're riding and there's nobody there.
We only remember this one little town we went through, and we thought, man, that whole stretch. It was one little bitty town that had, a gas station, and that's the only place you could stop. And now there's just like all these little bitty towns all up. And they must have been there a while. They don't look like they've been there in the last 10 years. A few places do.
But some of them, now there's a lot of inns and a lot of bed and breakfast and stuff along there, people on the coastline. So being on we rode it, Tuesday, I guess. Yeah. Monday and Tuesday, and was very shocked about how much vehicle traffic there was. Especially being in the car. We had to stop a lot, take pictures, did video. But we stayed in a couple places we had stayed at back 12 years ago. One was a Best Western, which was still pretty much about the same as it was, but of course the price was a lot different. Back then, can't believe 12 years ago, I think we were paying, I'd have to go back and look, I think it was about $60 a night we were staying in places. And that's back when Harley used to give you that 10 or 20% discount.
If you were a Hog member.
Yeah. And we all had that. And we took I guess it was like, 3 or 4 or 5 bikes, went up there. Art was the only single guy. I think the rest were all couples that rode.
I think there was 4. There was 2 other couples, us and Art. So there was 4 bikes.
And so but I think we only paid around $60. I booked everything ahead, and then everybody called and booked. I held the rooms, and then they booked them all. She wants to kind of do that again and offer it to everybody that that would like to do something like that.
Because once you guys see the video of the coastline, that's why I said California and the East Coast really doesn't have anything to compare to California's coastline.
Also, Oregon too. Oregon was pretty good. Washington, we didn't go as far up into Washington, but Washington was more. Well, some of the things I seen, I had no idea that during World War II there was a Japanese submarine off the coast, the west coast up there by Washington.
Yep.
So actually, I didn't realize that there was actually, most of the time when you see old forts and stuff, it's usually stuff from like the Civil War, things like that, cavalry days, things like that. Well, out there, they've got, which we filmed some of that. We're going to show you some of that stuff. But they got a lot of forts that were there for World War II. You couldn't believe the cannons and it almost looked like the same turrets that were on like the ships that they had.
Right.
One of them said it'd go, what do you say, 14 miles or something, you could shoot out.
Yeah.
It was like, holy crap. And some of the guns they had, and a couple of them, they
It was funny because I mean it was up on a bluff, but to look out like where the little holes were, where they were, I guess, scoping out to see if they could see ships coming in, it didn't look like it was up high enough, but I guess it was because it was funny the way they had it because it was up on the cliff and then it was almost like level, ground level, I guess, so they could see it. And I guess so when the ships were coming in, they couldn't tell that there was really a fort there.
So a lot of the guns were actually behind walls. This one that I've got a video of is actually out in front. And what it was is it was remember what that river was called? Was it I forget what that river was called up there? It's between Washington and Oregon. There's a river there.
Oh, Columbia. Columbia
And
River.
on each side of that, that's where I guess they were suspecting that the Japanese or whoever it was would come through there to get into the United States. So they
because
were.
the Columbia River is gigantic. I thought Mississippi was big. It was, but I mean, it's big enough. I mean, they have ships going there, so it's pretty wide and pretty deep. I'm assuming they have those ships going through there.
Most time we spent up there was in Oregon. There wasn't a whole lot in Washington to see. Most of them were older towns. Some of you, we can kind of post some pictures. Some of you guys were saying that it's mostly, which is there's a lot. If you're looking for wood, it's like, man, we should have brought the camper and loaded up our back of the trailer with some wood.
Well, and I asked because I said,
pine up there.
well, that and the driftwood is just everywhere. And I said, too bad we can't take that. And he's like, oh yeah, it's probably state property. You can't touch it and leave it. And so we asked one of the guys in the lighthouses because we hit all the lighthouses along the way in Oregon. And I said, all this driftwood. I said, can you take any of that? And he's like, take it, get it out of here. So I guess you can take it. But I mean, you know how driftwood is. It looks really cool. And in some people's houses, it looks really nice. But I wouldn't look very good in our house. But it was just really cool to see all that driftwood everywhere. And it looks, even though we were on the East Coast, and the East Coast is older than the West Coast, the housing and it just looked older.
More like, which was actually shocking up there in that area. There was more seafood that we seen there than we did on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Everybody had clam chowder. It was every restaurant, either two restaurants they had was seafood or Thai. That's it. You didn't eat any of those two. You were
starving.
Because that's all they had. I was like, wow,
And then somebody had told us on one of our chats, they said that the Goonies house was in Astoria, Oregon, and that's the city we kept going to from Washington because we were in Long Beach. Yeah, and I was looking at it and I said, oh, we're done past there now, but I said we could have went and saw the Goonies house.
So we're gonna have a bunch of videos talking about that in the next couple of weeks. I've been behind on our Topless Tuesday videos for the Patreon people, and we'll have 2 of them come out this weekend. I'll probably make 2 of them. I'll probably get one up maybe tomorrow as soon as we get home. I'll see if I can get one put together real quick, and if not, it'll be out on Friday. I'll put one out Friday and Saturday, so it'll be a double time.
Double feature this weekend.
So we have a lot of footage.
Michael Wynn says we're breaking up and the picture's blurry. Is anybody else experiencing that, or is it just Michael? No. I don't have it on, I guess.
Let us check our connection.
Yep. There, and your channel, and that's where we're staying. Turn it down. I usually get the Facebook one up. Oh. Trying to get
It's a little blurry.
I don't know.
Is that the internet? Let me check and see what internet we're on here. Make sure it didn't switch back. I don't know. I don't understand why we always use that one and it always messes up. Let me switch over. Well, I don't know. Maybe that one's not on now. Let me go back. Oh, I turned it off. That's why. Let us get the other one up just in case.
Technical difficulties. Oh, look at all the people all of a sudden. Mark's there with his logo. How about that? Raymond's on. He said, yeah, bad video. Blurry to us too. Okay, well.
We're working on it.
Yeah. Video glitches, but audio seems okay. I know. Darn.
We don't ever really understand why.
Yes.
T-Mobile comes in and says it's such a great video.
It's got like 75 upload, and then we get on, and it's like not very. There's Arthur. He's in Arkansas. That was kind of weird. when I clicked on him, it did weird stuff. I don't know. You kind of had a rainbowy thing and I don't know, Arthur. Daniel says, yeah, I'm on my TV and my phone and you are breaking off. Okay. We're trying to get on that. Hey, Bill, how you doing? Yep, pretty blurry.
Don't need to say any more of that until I get it fixed.
They're saying clearer now. Getting better. Whatever you did, it just came through on my phone and TV. Okay, so I guess we're good. He moved it to the other side of the table.
Make sure to see if we're still on.
All right.
How are you guys doing over
Doing
here?
good.
We're doing good, thank you.
So we're at we're eating at.
We're at Chili's.
We were going to do some stuff out on the strip. We checked a couple of hotels today, and what bad news is when you get inside those hotels, the internet sucks.
Well, that and it's loud too.
And so a couple places we stopped, even the resort we're at. I was going to do something out by that picture that I took, the thumbnail.
Yeah.
That's actually the water, the pool area and stuff. I thought we'd do something out there, and then went out there last night, and they had the music cranked up loud.
Really loud.
The
Hey
music
there.
here too, but it's not quite overwhelming.
Yeah, it's just kind of ambiance, like background music. Our one forever says looks good here. Okay, I guess we got the video under control. So I guess you want to talk about a couple of the events coming up next weekend, not this weekend, next weekend.
Yeah. So coming up the last weekend of September, starting out October there, there's a lot of events going on. First of all, we've got the event out here that we're inviting anybody out. If they want to come, let us know. We are going to end up staying in a hotel. It's one of the resorts that we deal with. And so we're staying there. So we're riding the bike over. We'll be on the bike the whole time. So that's the last weekend. So in Las Vegas, Red Rock Harley Davidson has a big event going on. A lot of stuff starting Friday, Saturday, both days, Friday and Saturday. We'll be here on Thursday through Monday. If you want to come out and you're going to be here for a while, maybe we can do some riding on Sunday. Some great places out here to ride.
You ride the bike up?
How are you going to get here?
I don't know. All right.
That's the reason you come to a motorcycle rally is you ride the motorcycle. We should have thought about that before you booked the hotel.
All right.
And because we'll probably just do some lives. We're probably not going to do any editing from there while we're there. We'll probably just use the phones and go off of that. So that's going on for one. Other thing is Myrtle Beach Bike Week. They're calling it, I don't know, the dealership's calling it Hurricane Alley or Typhoon.
Hurricane Rally or something
whatever
like
they're
that.
calling it. That's going on that time. And also Adam Sandoval's
Stubborn America.
Stubborn America is going on at the same time. So there's a lot of events going on that last weekend of the month. If you're going to Myrtle Beach, we just want to remind you about the laws that they passed last year. They've got a new noise ordinance out there that now if the police feel that your bike is too loud, they can pull you over for any reason at all.
Up to their discretion.
That's right. So be very cautious. The main thing is if you're going through Myrtle Beach, stay away from down there on where the hotels are at, down there on that strip.
Beach Avenue.
That's where the Atlantic bike goers, they hang out down there. Why? There's nothing freaking down there. So stay away from down there because that seems to be the number one place they come after you at, more there than anywhere else. But I mean, you can also take what's the outer road?
17 and 17A.
Yeah. So you can get out there on the 17 and you can bypass Myrtle Beach altogether.
Yeah.
You don't even have to go down.
17A is like all the touristy stuff.
There's some other laws that they passed is no congregating in any parking lots. After hours, no congregating in garages. You're not allowed to drink in public. If you're out on any private land, that would be a different story. But if you're in a parking lot or garage or anywhere like that, you cannot be drinking in public. So now if you're in a bar, that's a different story. If you're out there at Suck Bang Blow or whatever, you're on their property, that's fine. But if you step off their property, they can come after you. Now that's Ormond Beach, so it's not quite so bad as what Myrtle Beach is. There really isn't anything going on in Myrtle Beach anymore. Because even the dealership, aren't they in Ormond Beach?
Who, the dealership? Yes,
Yeah.
it's in Ormond Beach.
So it's just the other one that's North Myrtle. That's kind of like a little bit in Myrtle Beach there. But,
Oh, no, it's Merle's Inlet you're talking about.
yeah.
Ormond Beach is in Daytona. So it's Merle's Inlet.
So is the dealership in Merle's Inlet?
That's the
Where the
regular
vendors are.
dealership, yes. And then the other one's called North.
Okay. So watch your laws. Remember, everything opens up weird, different hours there, different things. I don't know what's going on. If you go
Well, this
to
one's
our,
only a 4-day rally. I think it
yeah,
all
it starts
opens at the same
Thursday and I
time.
think it's over on Sunday. So most of the rallies now are like that. They just had Ocean City just wrapped theirs up last weekend. Seemed like the few people were there. Seemed like it was so-so, nothing to brag about. It is what it is. Also, Lake of the Ozarks had theirs last weekend too. So. Lake of the Ozarks is actually starting to pick up. The news said there was going to be 100,000 bikes. There was no 100,000 bikes in. Probably wasn't even
Lake of the
100,000
Ozarks?
bike in Ocean City either.
Oh,
No, they said it was going to be in land. And the news was saying in Lake of the Ozarks they were going to have 100,000 bikes. No, and it's going to happen. You know, he says, yes, they did. First of all, where are they staying at? Are they staying in buses and sleeping in buses? Because there's not enough accommodations down there in Lake of the Ozarks for, even if you said 50,000 people, 10,000 people, there probably isn't even enough down there for 10,000 people. Same thing, they don't have a lot of big campgrounds down there either. There's a few small campgrounds. Sturgis is really the only one that can handle big crowds. But even at that, I still say there's no 400,000 or 500,000 people coming to Sturgis. But we won't argue about that tonight.
so Ken, what hills are you talking about? He said, any thoughts of hitting the hills when it's cool, when it's nice and cool and less congested? Out here in Arizona, there's Beer Bottle Baby in Wyoming, and Emery wanted to know, are you going to the IMS in February? The show that's out in California. Is it going to be in Orange County again?
International, let me look and see when that's going to be. It was in January last year.
Yeah.
International Motorcycle Show in California.
I think we did that weekend, and the next weekend was the Mecum thing. So Emery said you didn't miss much in Ocean City. Did you see Ryder X? He went out there. He sent us a picture. He made it out there. I don't know how long he stayed out there, but he did get out there. But that's not very far from where he lives. He lives right there in Maryland. So Las Vegas, it says 2023. Now there's the Mecum auction, and that's in January. But is the IMS show? This is November.
Yeah,
That's coming up November 4th. Oh.
I don't know if it looks like they're not even got anything down yet for next year for the IMS show. It looks like they were going to have one in November. They canceled that, which I don't really know why they canceled it. They need to keep it. Let's put it this way: the International Motorcycle Show, if they keep it in Orange County and they have it down at the fairgrounds, I'm all in. Probably be there the whole 3 days. But if they take it and bring it back up to Long Beach, probably not going to do it at all. Maybe a day, but not probably.
He says Vegas 2023. I don't know. He's looking for it. He was planning on going, but he was assuming it was going to be in Orange County again at the fairgrounds.
Well, they have one in Orange County too. Let me look and see.
2023 is going to be a crazy year, especially for anyone living in Illinois. Why? What's going on in Illinois? I know the elections and everything's coming up in November, so that might stir up some stuff. Either way, I guess. I don't know. There's Ryder X. We were just talking about you. Were your ears burning? How many days did you stay out in Ocean City? Emery said he was there. He said we didn't miss much. So what did you think about Ocean City? We're still good, thank you. You want some more ice?
Okay.
Just let me know if you guys need
Okay,
anything else,
maybe
right?
just a cup of ice.
Gotcha.
Thank you. So, anyway, he's looking up the stuff for the International Motorcycle Show.
I don't know because Daytona. We leave for Daytona early.
When does it say it's going to be?
It didn't say now, but on the other one it said it was February, like the 14th through the July 10. It's not. It's international. The other one's the International Motorcycle Show. This is the AIM.
Oh, he said the IMS.
Well, the IMS is what
This is the AIMEX.
Expo. And that's the one that was saying it was going to be February 15th through the 17th in February. That's in Las Vegas at the Expo Center. So probably not. We'll probably already be on our way to, when do we usually leave to go to Daytona?
Last year we left on the 11th, but we wanted to get out there a week early to try to get a hold of the police and stuff.
So we'd probably be leaving about this time. I wouldn't think we'd be leaving after that. We'll leave on the 18th or 19th to get there. So, yeah, so that's the AIM. which is the American International Motorcycle Expo. That's the one that's going to be Wednesday, February 15th to Friday, the 17th in Las Vegas. So
Richard Snow said, as far as Daytona is concerned, I've been to Bike Week and
International Motorcycle Show.
times. The closest we stayed to Daytona was St. Augustine. The crowd stays from Cocoa Beach to Jacksonville. Yeah, it is. I think Rider X last year stayed up in St. Augustine's, but Brett Fink lives in St. Augustine's and he goes down to Daytona. So I guess to each their own. I agree. The weather was great. Yeah. So they said the weather for Ocean City was
Or
great.
the night before. That's
Yeah.
when Zoil Adam had his video up showing that he had a small flood.
Yeah.
And the person, luckily, he didn't set anything up. The person next to him,
Set up his
all
tent.
their stuff blew down on their little PT Cruiser.
Mini Cooper.
Yeah, whatever it was. Little car.
It's also called the Illinois Purge. They passed a bill for anyone that can't post cash bail will get them released, and someone can live in your shit, and the police can't do anything but give them a
That's
ticket.
they took that from California.
Yeah.
Los Angeles has that rule that everybody comes out on a cash bail and nobody, so you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Just tell them you're homeless and
Say, oops, sorry. They slap you on your hand and go on.
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, next time-
I did hear that, Paulie P.
yeah. Welcome to Illinois. We call that California's sun.
They're pretty,
We lived in both.
yeah, and they follow each other. We didn't realize that.
So I don't know if anybody, I know a few people that we've known in the past that goes to Adam Sandoval's campground. He's doing, he just got married, and some of you might have seen that, some of you might have moved to that.
September 10th, I think it was. Yeah, him and Ashley.
So that was great. It was nice. They did all that. The reason we don't go to his event is he's got way too many YouTubers there. He just put something on Facebook now, and he's got like 10 of them showing up there. It's way too many. If you're just going to go to socialize, then that's great. Really, the only big one is the. I can't think of the guy's name now. It's the one Art Watch. The guy that was the
Tree surgeon.
Yeah, Tree Surgeon's going to be there. And I can tell you who's not going to be there. The Armory one won't be there. I can tell you that one. But I didn't tell you that. And
Sandoval is opening a second campground. Yeah, and
Yeah, he's
it's
working
going to
on
be in
Arizona.
supposedly. What we heard.
What we're hearing is him and Law Tigers working together and doing this stuff. There's a lot of things he's doing. He's doing that. He's going to do. I think he's going to start doing adventure bikes where that's why one
Destination rides.
Yeah, destination rides where I'm not sure if he's going to lead them or somebody's going to lead them, but you can pay money to go on these trips and go to these great destinations that they have, which is
Awesome.
which is
But I'm
great.
sure it's going to cost you.
I think that Meg's doing the same thing now. I think she's jumped on board about that. I don't mind. If you guys want to go on a really great ride, just like here, we just talked about Oregon and maybe Northern California, riding that. We'd be happy to help set it up for you. We'll even go with you and plan it all out. And all we do is say, hey, here's the hotels you need to book. You need to book them all in a row. It's whatever you pay. We wouldn't make any money. The idea is just to go and have fun.
Yep. And see the coast.
Just like if anybody wants to do a Route 66, that's one of the rides I want to do too, is Route 66 from Arizona to St. Louis. I don't need to go, no use going to Chicago because there's nothing between. We live in Illinois. There's nothing on Route 66 really worth seeing up that way. Most of it's pretty much from Arizona through Oklahoma. That's really the
Missouri's
best.
got some cool stuff.
Some.
The do drop in.
It's not as good as what you get from New Mexico and Arizona's got some really great stuff that we really like to see. And I'd like to spend a time, but in my Route 66 would be probably over 30 days because it's one of these things I have no plan that we stop. That's one of the things that I watch some of these other people that do like rides in California. They don't stop anymore. They show you all these great rides they go on and all that. To me, that's the only reason I rode a motorcycle to different things and did this, because I like to be able to stop. We've seen elk. If you were on my Patreon page, I put up a picture of the elk. We seen two full-grown females and a baby. We seen two males and one female big out in the woods. We seen a whole herd of them, probably 15, 20 of them actually get to see a very aggressive male pushing off the other ones. That'll come in a video soon to show you how they handle. He threw grass at them and stuff. He had a full rack, and they backed down from him. They had their females with them, but he kind of put them in their place. So that was great. Last day we seen wild turkeys. Got to stop and see that. We show you the great places if you want to ride through the tree. No, we didn't do that. We've done that stuff in there. Go by Paul Bunyan's, the Mystery Forest. There's a whole bunch of neat stuff.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And we even saw a bear. We've always wanted to see a bear. We saw a
We didn't
bear.
get the camera up fast enough. He ran in front of us.
Well, we
And-
looked at it, and it's like he was in the middle of the road. It's like, what is that? We're both like, what is that? And then when he turned and looked and walked off, it was like,
Well, he
oh,
went off in a pretty good scatter
Yeah.
there. He
but
was,
it was a
he was
black
kicking
bear.
and moving.
Well, he
and,
wasn't real big,
He was
but I
probably
didn't
like
see
a
him on
1
the
year
bear.
old, maybe a year and a half old. He was wasn't big, but he was big. Bigger, about twice the size of a normal big dog. Like Charlie, he was probably twice as tall as him, and of course bigger around, but he wasn't fat or nothing. And so we've seen that. So we've seen a lot of great stuff. Seen some wild birds that was pretty interesting. But we seen whales. We seen 2 gray whales. We seen 2 orcas.
Yep. We
And
saw
so-
a seal. We saw
and
that seal at
all
the
this-
lighthouse.
Now, of course, with the car, we stopped a lot. We're always pulling off the side of the road. Well, I would have done the same thing. There really wasn't any place this trip that I couldn't stop
With the car.
with the car. But the motorcycle's always a lot easier. Squeeze in, squeeze out, things like that. So that's what we do. We also went to Glass Beach, checked all that out again.
Fort Bragg.
So there's all kinds of. We've seen the vintage homes.
That was in Ferndale, yeah.
Yep, went
The
through
Victorian
there.
homes.
And all these great places, stopped at some great places and ate. And so that's the point of when we do rides, it's the part that's part of my riding is finding these great places. Like when we took this group up 12 years ago, our first stop was at the Winchester Mansion. We
That was
went and
cool.
toured that, and it was. I didn't know.
Nobody does.
They didn't know. The women didn't know if they would like it or not. But they ended up liking it a lot better than the Guns of Winchester. It was.
Well, it was because the lady was crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
in this house
But
she
it was
built
really neat story,
insane.
and at the end there's a full collection of all the Winchester rifles are all there, and it's really a neat story. I wouldn't mind going back and getting an extended version. They have one behind the scenes that you see more stuff. But we spent a day there and we stayed, and then the next day we rode to San Francisco, and some of them, me and one of the other guys, they did the Alcatraz tour.
the island, Alcatraz
And so
Island.
they went out there and they
That's
did
kinda
that for the
cool.
day. And then the next few days is where we stopped at, we went to Glass Beach, we went to Black Beach. There's a Black Beach, which actually is from the volcanic ash. And what happens is at the very, very end of it, it's as fine as sand. And then in parts of it down into the water, it's like big rocks. And it gets bigger and bigger, but it's by it being beat up against the shore, same thing Glass Beach is. So you can walk on that Glass Beach barefoot and you'll never get cut, because everything's all rounded off. It's from 1920 to actually all the way to 1980. They were dumping trash in the ocean there at Fort Bragg area. But I mean, it's just, those are the things that I like to do when we go on rides. It's not all about.
Okay.
It's
Thank you.
not all about just getting on a bike and just riding someplace. We do that when we go to the Black Hills. Yeah, if you're going to go on Iron Mountain or you're going to go Neil's Highway, yeah, that's a short ride. But here, what was that twisty ride that had about 300 turns in it? Maybe she quit counting.
I did.
And how many miles was that? 50 miles?
15 miles.
Well, that's when you only count that one. But from the time we started
Oh, yeah.
at 45, and then
Oh, yeah.
we went to
It was probably at least 50 miles.
constant turns, one after another.
And
It has-
switchbacks, and then you're in the redwoods, and then you're on the coastline, and then you're in the redwoods, and then you're in the coastline. It's
Then you got trees over the top of you. It's like going through a cave and all
really
this stuff.
cool.
And it's an intense
Delaware.
ride. It's an intense ride. But that's the kind of riding I like to do. I like to ride like that. I like to be able to stop all the time, especially along. What's so nice about the Oregon and the California coast is there's always a turnout. You could almost pull over every
mile.
quarter mile probably and have
At
a
least
place
every
you can,
mile.
you can stop and take a look and see the cliffs and the rocks. And she's constantly, we probably got more footage than you'll ever see.
I know, because I'd be filming. I'm like, oh, this looks cool. Oh, this looks cool. And I was like, all right, I got to stop. We've got way too much. And it's like, oh my gosh, you got to see this. It was a
So we
lot.
went in a lot of the lighthouse. We seen all the lighthouses. 2 of them could not get to. One of them was out in the middle of the water. So we just shot that from a distance. We didn't get very
It
close
was actually
to that.
3.
And then there's one that was on a house that somebody bought, which they said they didn't even know where it was at. They said it's on the corner. So I found it. Great place to stop on this turnout. You walk them. See, I'm good about finding things. And you probably only walk maybe 20 feet around this guardrail. And we didn't get run over. There was enough time that we could take. She took pictures of it. And I got video of this house. And we went back and I said, hey, I just want to let you know if you stop right there where the state sign is for the whatever park
The
it is,
hike.
it's
It was a
coming
hike.
up. That right after that, the next turnout, if you park right there and you walk about 10 to 20 feet, you got a perfect shot. And I'm like, oh, well, really, thank you for telling us that. These old people, they're volunteers. And they're like, we never knew exactly where we just know if you look real quick, you could see it. Well, by the time you look, you've done passed up the turnout.
Yeah.
And you could have parked and just walked over there. Got some great video of it, and you'll see that.
Yeah.
So it was really
it
interesting.
was, I think they have 11.
And
11.
we actually went.
And we went to all 11.
Plus.
2 were privately owned, and 1 that was out in the
Well,
ocean.
you
you
had said
couldn't
there was
see.
more than that. You said there was more than what they said. They said there was 11. Because that one, the last one I went to wasn't even on the list.
Yeah, it was. It was at the bottom.
I thought you
It's called
said.
Pelican's Bay.
I thought you said it was on the map, but it wasn't on the list.
Oh, no, it wasn't on the
so
list.
that was one
There
more.
was only 9 listed on the little brochure they gave us of the lighthouses of the coast, and then 2 of them were privately owned, and then the one that was on the list, but it was way out in the ocean. It's,
So the map, the one
Tillamook.
map showed you where they were all at, so you could see where that. And the one that was out in the middle of the water,
Tillamook.
I've been by that one before, and I wasn't gonna get that close. And it ended up being when we pulled off a turn off, I could see it out there, so we were able to get a shot of that.
We tried to keep posting everybody where we were at. I don't know where Mendoza.
We passed that.
Well, that's what he said. Sorry, I missed you.
No, so it was tough.
We did
there.
get to meet Cheryl and Phil and have breakfast with them one morning, so that was kind of cool.
And it's tough for us when we're traveling like that because it got to be these last couple of days. We were like here. We drove all the way from where did we sleep yesterday morning from.
It was north of San Francisco. I couldn't tell you the name of the town.
So we're on the other side of Santa Rosa. On the other side of Santa Rosa, and we drove all the way to Vegas. So it was about a 10-and-a-half-hour drive with stops. Probably about 11 hours counting. We stopped and ate. What'd you eat?
Where do we stop?
Favorite place to eat of this whole trip? What'd you have tonight?
I had Chili's.
And what'd you eat?
I had soup. Oh, we stopped at Anderson's Pea Soup House or
Was that the
whatever
best
it is.
place you ate at?
Yes, that was. I even had it for dinner last night. Got a hot
We're supposed to
dog.
take none to go, and she's like, "I'll put some in a cup for you."
Well, that's what she
That's
said. It was. I guess if you just
Yeah.
order a bowl of soup,
She
it's
didn't
like
know.
all you can eat. And she says, "Oh, I finished my bowl and I was stuffed because we ate early. It was like at
Maybe
11
another
o'clock."
tea.
Gotcha.
And so then I
Thank
said, she's like, "Oh, would you like another bowl?" And I said, "Oh, I can't. I'm stuffed." I said, "Can I get one to go?" She's like, "No, we can't do that." She's like, "I'll get you a cup." So she gave me a cupful. So,
Big cup.
and then they had all the bread is so soft.
Did
He
you eat
didn't
all?
like it. No, I only ate one more piece last night. But it
So
was
that's
good.
what we had, and because we got back late, and by the
Anderson's
time we had
Pizza.
issues with getting into the hotel we stayed at, and by that time it was already late, and it's like I'm not going out. We're gonna go to like the White Castle or something. White Castle or something. Supposed to meet her. My old girlfriend's brother
Yes,
was in
it
town
was in
here.
it was in Vegas, and we were supposed
Well,
to
he's
meet
gone
him.
now. He's probably getting on his plane.
Yeah,
5:30.
5:30. He was leaving at 5:30.
But his girlfriend's future bride probably
Somebody she
in her
knew.
new got really bad burn somewhere in her right close to where we
70%.
live.
Yeah, because they flew him up here,
Yeah.
so it had to be.
Well, it
in-
could be anywhere. Could
Yeah.
have been Kingman, or could
Yeah.
have been even in. Yeah, probably would have. It couldn't be too. Well, have a suit, and then in
Yeah.
that area would be flowing that. Anything closer, more that way would go to Phoenix. Probably.
Probably.
No problem.
Thank
There
you.
you go. No problem. So I'm going to be on my way out of here soon. I think
right.
Steve is going to be taking over for you guys.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Just let him know. if
Thank
there's
you.
anything else. I have the bill for here.
All right.
so if you
Okay.
guys need it.
Perfect.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
No problem.
Great wedding.
Yeah. Yep. He was nice.
Yeah. Got a haircut today. So we got a bunch of work going to be starting on the garage. We're gonna
Oh,
be-
somebody asked an update on the garage. So
Yep. So I'm laying the water line.
Thank you,
If
Lisa.
everything goes right, right now we're supposed to be between 95 and 105. So I'm going to be laying water lines probably Friday and Saturday if I can get the trencher. Home Depot. And so I'm going to see if I can get that. Usually first come first serve. So I'll be there at 6:30. Get my trencher. And probably tomorrow I'll go get the water pipes and have them ready to put in, trench it all. And then, so that's in. Probably the following week, if all goes well, we got to check temperature. We'll be putting epoxy down. We'll be acid washing the floor first.
Hey, where's Mike? Calling Mike.
He's been busy. He's been keeping up on that.
Guys.
You should put that up there again. Our
Oh. That's this one here, right?
So this is our other Facebook page. It's a big group page we got. It's got about 32,000 subscribers
I
now.
think I've eaten chitlins. He hasn't.
And so if you guys want to get on there, comment on there. Put some stuff up there. You know, you guys that are thinking about doing Sturgis next year, put down where you're staying at and put some comments on there. There's a lot of people that are on there waiting to see what other people are saying about Sturgis. So if you've had an experience, good or bad, go down there and put something down. Maybe put some post pictures there that have, if you went this last couple of years, post it on there. We got a couple there asking people where they're going to stay. We are still working with the Buffalo Chip. They are still having computer problems. We should probably give them a quick call tomorrow and see, make sure they're not up and going yet. We're expecting now October 1st, hopefully. But we're supposed to be all set up to where if any of you want to stay with us, right now we don't know if we're going to get any special deal or not, but we'll have an area. And what it's called, you remember what that area is called?
Deep Lake.
Deep Lake. So the Deep Lake's where we're going to be. That's for, they have electric and water. You have 30 amp, 50 amp, and water at each of the campsites. They're very level spots. We're actually got some lakefront spots if you want lakefront. We're actually on the back side of the property, so it's going to be easy in, easy out. Actually, this is the staff, the girls that sit at the counter there, that have been doing it for, 20-something years, almost 30 years. She's been working the counter there at the Buffalo Chip.
Oh, yeah.
And she recommended it. She said out of the places, she gave us 2. And that one ended up being the best for being level spots. So I don't know how many we're going to have yet. As soon as we get Rod nailed down here, it looks like we're going to be having a meeting with him sometime maybe in October. And so we'll have a lot more information as we get closer. But as soon as we find out they're going to start booking, we'll let everybody know.
I think Mike or Neil? One of them called to see, and they said October 1st. That's what they told him. Rod said, could be any time. They don't know. It's just kind of a toss-up whenever
You get new software.
Yeah. So Mike says he's a bad penny. Mention my name and I'm there. He said, let me know when you want to do the floor.
We're thinking next week if it's not too freaking hot.
Well, we're leaving on Thursday to come back up here.
We'll see. Well, I got to see if they're going to get the epoxy
Maybe the week
in.
after.
We have to see if they're going to get the epoxy in or not. And so
no pickles, pig feet. My dad was eating a snoot sandwich one time, and he'd always do this to me. He'd have something and he'd get this grin on his face. He's like, taste this, try it. And I'm like, I learned after a few tries, and it was pig snoot, and I'm glad I didn't try it. Ugh. He used to eat pig brains, all that stuff. Whatever they were brains. Ugh. Cheryl says she's enjoyed breakfast too. Bill said he showed her how to use the YouTube. That's the people we ate with up in Washington, in Oregon.
And so we had a pretty good week here that we were off and didn't get a lot of videos done. But these last 3 or 4 days, we did nothing but drive. We drove all day long because we made so many stops. One day we only drove 176 miles, but we were out there for 8 or 9 hours filming and stopping and talking to people. And
It was fun.
It's still, Sturgis is probably the best for short rides. But if you want to really have the best experience every ride, that's what it was. Oregon and Northern California, to spend a week on that.
Well, that's what I told him. I said once we should offer to take a trip. And
she wanted to do a month long.
Well, I would.
Hotels average about $150 a night.
Yeah, so that's
we don't stay in Motel 6s. We try to find something halfway decent, a Best Western or whatever. We're not staying in the Hiltons or something like that. But I mean, to try to get a halfway decent hotel, the cheapest one we got was this last one we stayed at, right by Santa Rosa, and it was $91. By the time you put tax on it, it's $127. So most of them were running about $150 with tax. I was getting them around $125, and this isn't summertime. We're still, but there was a lot of people out and about.
Well, when we stayed, where was that one town we stayed at? And when we got there, it says no vacancy. It was booked. So we was booking the night before every time we were leaving.
That was that one that right before Crescent City, where we stay at Brookings.
Oh,
Brookings,
yeah, it was in
that was when
Oregon.
it came in there. It said it was sold out.
Yeah, and we said, "What's going on?" And he says,
That was the only place that didn't have no air conditioner. They only had heaters. I mean,
Yeah.
it was right there on the water.
"Yeah,
I mean, we didn't have water. We had a water view. You didn't wasn't on the beach. There was another building on the other side of us.
don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you're
I
on
mean, we had great weather. Pretty much, it was in the 60s. Funny thing
a
was,
2-week trip,
we
1
seen
day of rain."
way more adventure bikes than I seen touring bikes. Probably 2 to 1. We did see a lot of people that had rental bikes, so I'm assuming they're probably foreigners. They didn't know how to ride. One group had 3 or 4 guys in it. They were kind of staggered all around. They weren't really riding like they should ride. And then
But
they were
those are
riding
3
so
bikes that were
freaking slow. It
identical?
was like, she's like, "Who's in front of those bikes?" I said, "Nobody. They are in front, dragging. It's 55 miles an hour on most of these roads. You got, it straightens out. You drop down to 15 miles on some of the sharp turns. But I mean,
There was one. It wasn't even a switchback. It was like a hairpin. It was right there. It was like, I don't know. It was just like turning around.
What was nice was going from, which is, this is backwards from our video is going to be backwards from what we normally would have done, is we went from Oregon
came
down.
down.
So the difference was you were always on the inside of almost all the turns. You were never really on the outside,
Oh, yeah.
which to me, I'd rather be on the inside, but you do have to make a lot tighter turn on your bike, especially when we're 2 up. 1 up would be great. We did that the first time we did that on the bike was 2 up, and 12 years ago. But
So Rod, you have to make it out to the West Coast, and then he says he's working on his bike. You said something about maybe getting a trike, and now you're going to fix up your rocker. So that's cool. Oops, I missed somebody. There we go.
so we got a lot of great stuff coming on, and we're going to have some videos talking about the garage and stuff. That should make me think. I don't know how many of you actually know Arizona. It's really dry. You know, we usually have about 2 to 3% humidity. So there's a couple options I could do on the lower. My garage is actually, what is it, 16 and a half, 17 foot tall inside.
Yes.
Garage doors are 14-foot doors.
It's probably taller than that.
I think I thought he said it was 16 and a half up to the top
To
of
the
the
peak?
wall. Not to the
Oh.
peak, but to the top of the wall.
All right.
So
maybe.
the main, where the main truss goes across on the sides of the building, it's about 8 foot tall. So the choice is to, it's already insulated. It's got roll insulation already on it. And I could put aluminum, which I wouldn't have to put any studs or anything up for aluminum. You could pretty much put a trackle on the bottom, but those are only 3 foot wide sheets, and it's that corrugated, same thing as what the outside of the building is. Or I could put, I'm not going to, definitely not doing drywall because I'm not going to spend that much time with it. Other choices to
He
put,
hates drywall.
yeah, I'm not a drywall guy. Other thing is to put plywood up. Now, some people say that you, I should watch a guy video that said you should 3/4 inch plywood. Well, that's like $61 a sheet right now. And I think you could get away with, I talked to a couple people with lumber yards too, said you could probably get away with 1/2 inch or even maybe a little less than 1/2 inch on there. And I'm thinking now maybe putting studs up, and I might do it every 24 inches. So we are going to put water lines inside the walls. So because the builder told us you could put the steel on it, the inside, and you could actually run all your electrical on the outside of the steel. The only nice thing about the steel is, which is not really steel, it's aluminum. So it's not going to rust if you hosed it out or anything like that. Versus the plywood, it's definitely going to paint it. But then the option is I'm not going to be able to paint it Harley colors if I use the metal. Because that'd be a real pain in the ass to paint.
Well, you're gonna have stuff up on the walls anyway. Hi there. Thank you. We're good.
Okay.
All right.
And so, I don't know. So that's
We
something.
do have a swamp cooler, but Emery is gonna help us maybe
Hook us up
air
with,
conditioning.
air conditioning first.
There we go.
So I'm trying to talk my
Hey,
brother
Danny.
into coming out. And somebody else I talked to the guy that actually built the building, he's getting ready to hang a unit in his garage, and he's going to hang it up in the rafters. So he said once he gets that hooked up in the next month or two, I can come over there and see how he hung it up. I'm trying to get my brother to come out. My brother does electrical work. He's pretty all around kind of handy too. But he worked as an electrician. He retired. Worked 30 years.
He said he epoxied the whole dial, or I don't know if he did the whole building, but he epoxied the floor there. And he's like, I'm epoxying in the floor too if you want to come out.
And so I told him, him and his wife would give him an expense-paid trip to Arizona if they want to come out
to work for a week or two.
Yeah.
I said, we'll have some fun too. We'll go out on.
And so they have
Emery
let me
says,
know.
just let me know.
And so we're definitely going to be doing some of this other stuff to get it all done. I've still got, I guess, first I got to get the water line in. The septic tank's going to go in, looks like Monday or Tuesday. They're going to put the septic tank in. We got to go talk to the city because I'm having a heck of a time. I don't know if anybody has a building that's on another lot without a house. I'm having a heck of a time finding an insurance.
Insurance. Nobody wants to cover
No,
it.
I finally found somebody to insure the building, but they won't insure nothing that's in it. So they want a residence on it. So we're going to go check with the city or the county about putting a camping trailer on there, what requirements on that, or putting a tiny building on it, a tiny house.
Well, it's not a lift, a permanent lift. The lift
No.
you're going to get it's
It's
one.
going to be just like, have you been in any of the rallies? It's just like Amazon Adams got,
Yeah,
Fair and
Fair
Exchange, all those guys, all about
Speeds.
customs, speeds. It's that one there. It'll pretty much be in one spot. Once I get it in there, I'm probably not going to be moving it around. I'm looking to my thought is to make the right side of my garage in that back corner is where the shop's going to be. Because on the left side is where my bathroom and all that stuff's going to be. And if we build anything, it's going to be more built on that side if we decide to build something else in there. Because I might eventually build a loft up there. Depending on once we put everything in the garage, depends on what I'm going to do. If YouTube does it.
we got the boat and the truck in there, and it looks like there's not much room left.
Not much room left.
Mm-mm. So they want to know if there's a bike week in Vegas this month.
The only thing they got going on is Rapid City. Red Rock Harley Davidson is having a big event on Friday and Saturday of the end of this month. They're going to have they're having stunt show coming. They have a stunt competition coming in. They're going to have girls that used to work at Coyote Uglies is going to be working there. They're going to have a bar. They're going to have DJs going on. They're going to have entertainment the whole week, Friday and Saturday, all day, both days. So that's where we're going to be.
I think Friday starts at noon, and I think it goes till 6 or 9. I don't remember which. And then Saturday starts like at 9 and goes until 6 or whatever.
And if anybody wanted to come out,
And they said you could do a metal chair rail and then panel above that. That's what he was thinking, doing part of it. Well, because they're 8-foot sections. If you do that,
well, the idea was probably if I was going to do the 8-foot and down, that's all it's going to be. What's above that is probably just going to stay the insulation. I'm probably not going to finish that, not knowing what I'm going to do. If we're going to, because the option is, if YouTube here doesn't get crazy for us or we don't find a major sponsor, my other option is I can get $300 a month by putting boats in my garage. And I could probably put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 7 boats in my garage. That's not bad money for doing nothing.
yeah.
But taking the boats out when they want their boat taken out.
I don't know
So
if you're going to get extra electrical for the bands during the Bob and Tam Garage Rally.
I'll have plenty of electric there.
400 amp.
Well, we don't know now. My brother's trying to talk me into just putting 200 amp in. So there's no reason for 400 amp. And because the idea would be same thing. If I was using 100 amp, we was going to have 100 amp for the trailer, 100 amp for the 200 amp for the garage, and 100 amp for another house if we ever put it in there. That'd be the 400 amps. And he's like, you're never even going to need 200 amps in your garage. It's not like lifts all run off 110. They're not like they run off 220.
You're not going to have everything going at the same time.
Yeah. So, you got the air conditioner is probably going to be the only thing. I got welders and stuff, but I mean, you're not going to have the welder and everything else running at the same time.
My cousin's bike club headquarters on the second floor of the mezzanine with the bed in the case in case your spouse kicks you out for the latest surprise bike purchase.
Oh, just to show you about electricity, how many's going out to Adam Sandoval's place?
Oh my gosh.
The whole one side there,
The 50 amp side.
yeah, is only 200 amp. So what's he got? He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there's 8 RV spots there running off of 200 amps. How's that work? I put 50 amp each. How do you have 8 trailers running 50 amp? You don't.
Even Gerald had to put out a fire.
And same thing that they had trouble with when they had it the last time we were there. They had the dyno guy and the person with the kitchen was going. He couldn't have his 220 oven on, and they couldn't run the dyno at the same time because once again it's on a 200 amp service, and the dyno was pulling like I don't know 80, 250 amps, so it was running 100 amps to run the dyno, and it was like, and then the guy with the oven stuff is running whatever he's running 50 plus to run his ovens that he's got, his fryers. And then the rest of the people are running 110, so they're eating up to 20, 30 amps there and kept blowing fuses. Well, once again, normally not everything, you turn on your air conditioners, it only takes a big draw when it first turns on. Well, if it runs nonstop, so it stays on the whole time, you're only going to have that drag. Well, not everybody's air conditioner is kicking on at the same time, so they're not actually pulling the more amperage. It just once it fires up, that's why we have easy starts on ours. You can run it on a 110 hour.
So Mon's on. How you doing? What time is it there, Mon? Neil didn't come on yet either.
He was moose hunting.
Oh, that's right.
He said he almost had a moose the other day. Getting ready to shoot it, tripped, fell, and slammed face first into the ground. He said all he could hear was that moose laughing at him.
Never gonna have too much power, Bill says.
No, you couldn't. But my brother was just saying it was there's a lot more regulations to get 400 amp put in, and he's like, if you're going to put another building on the lot, I don't know why, because the electric company was telling me they'd only put one service in, and he's like, I don't understand that. My brother's an electrician back in Illinois, in Missouri, so he's like, anywhere I'm at, because we're actually in Illinois, where in the county he's in, you can only have 200 amp. You have to be a commercial business to have a 400 amp service put in. So he said, everybody out here that's got a garage or pole building or whatever they only got 200 amp. That's it. And they're making it do. So
Thursday morning out there, Mon says. Mon says it's 10:50 a.m. Thursday morning. She's the one that brought me the little koala bear. Thursday morning in Australia, down under.
Okay.
She
down there on the Bobby.
Made it home safe and sound.
That's good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did we ever meet those people that were from Australia that they were having their bikes shipped over?
I don't know if that was Mon or not.
Did you rent bikes or did you guys have your bike shipped over? Somebody I talked to said they were having their bike shipped over.
I don't know.
A couple other people were asking if that guy, Alibas or whatever it is, that's got a YouTube channel, has been putting videos out every day, if he was the guy that we interviewed. No, it's not the same guy.
3-phase in my house. The machines I used to work on, it had to be 3-phase because they were
I don't have
so
nothing that I need 3-phase for.
Yeah, that's what Bill said. He's got 3-phase. That's a lot. I saw a funny show to see bike with a picture of Bigfoot, and it said, "Bigfoot saw me, but no one believes him." So I don't know.
I've seen a lot of Bigfoot up there, and I was going to do one the other day, but I didn't. Somebody would come after me. I found this giant wooden statue, and I said, "Look, it's Monkey Man." And I was going to post that and say Monkey Man, but I thought you'd all think I was talking about
Professional Monkey.
Yeah, and so we didn't do it.
So I don't know who Ryder X is talking about. It says, it seems like most everything he does or talks about these days is related to trying to sell you a product. Who are you talking about? Is that Adam?
No, I'd say it's probably the Monkey Man.
Well, we haven't been talking about the monkey,
No,
professional
just
monkey. Well,
So-
no, this was up a bit.
So yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
You should have swinging parties.
There's a lot of, that's one of the reasons we don't really, which we are going to do some once we get the garage all done, but it may not now be till after we get back from Sturgis next year, or in between. I guess after we leave, Adam Sandoval?
Yeah.
So it seems like he's begging for money too. And some people have commented on that and stuff, and it's like, he's done very well for himself. And I think people
does help the vets a lot.
I think people look at that and think, hey, he's got a campground. He's built a very nice home that I probably couldn't afford to build. And he's tied in with some of these great, Law Tigers and some of these other big people that promote him and stuff. And he's probably doing very well. That would be my thought. Personally, I have no idea. And then when he turns around, and I think on his wedding thing, he had a thing where he was trying to get $50, people do $50 donations and stuff. And a lot of people were making comments about that it sounded like, because he'd been married before and Ashley'd been married before. So they both been married. I didn't realize Ashley had 2 kids.
Oh, I only knew she had one.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then he mentioned on one of his videos that there was now I'm gonna have 2 new sons. And I was like, I thought she only had one, but I guess the other one must have been, I don't know. So when I
I
look,
don't know.
if you go to Ashley actually has a Facebook page now, Ashley Sandoval, and if you go to that, it showed 2 kids. One's in one grade and one's in another grade. I was like, oh crap, maybe she does. I've only seen the one kid she ever had. Maybe her husband, her ex-husband, had the other one or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Don't know.
because when we were down there for Stubborn American, at the end of it all, because we stayed an extra day or something, so most everybody had left, and we were all sitting out there on the back patio, and I don't know, I guess he was 6 or 7 maybe at that time, and him and Adam was on the ground wrestling and stuff, but I didn't. That was the only one I saw. But I
Yeah,
mean,
so
maybe
you just assumed.
if the other
And
one's
I
a
don't
little
think
bit older,
Adam
maybe
ever, when he was with his other wife, I don't think they ever had any
I
kids.
don't think so.
So I don't know, but it's fine. Adam's a
Yep.
great guy.
Yes, he
He's
is.
nice, and I know he's got a lot of irons on the fire, and he's trying to do all this stuff, and so
And it's hard when you start doing this because then it's like you think, oh, this looks cool. I want to do this and I want to do that, and then all of a sudden you
yeah,
feel like you're all over the page.
Well, it's
Hey, Kurt.
to me, one campground would be way enough to take care of. I think a lot of it's ball tigers,
He wasn't-
something they want to do with ball tigers, and I think he's trying to get to that next level of what he's doing, and good, more power to
Wedding
him.
present.
He's a little bit younger than us, so he's still got a lot of life
Hey,
left.
Gator,
And,
your dog. I haven't heard from you in a
and
while.
I don't know if Ashley's quit her job. She was working way down there, and
Paris, she was X-ray, like
Okay.
manager of the X-ray
Yeah.
department.
so I don't know if she still does that or not. I don't know. Like I say, we ran into him at the well, actually both of them at the
Buffalo Chip.
and for just a quick couple seconds, and that was it. So we really didn't have much time. We actually talked to Monkey Man way more than we ever talked to Adam this year.
We had a couple meetups with the
Yeah.
monkey guy,
And
professional monkey.
yeah, so it's fine, and it is what it is. And
Well, it's hard because we're trying to meet all you guys, and then we meet all these other people, and we're trying to YouTube, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's not enough hours in the day. Yeah,
It
so
makes it tough.
Sturgis, we were wiped out. By the end of Sturgis, we were done, I
And
think.
Sturgis is just like next year. That's what which is what we're doing. During the actual rally, we will be on the Buffalo, unless something drastically changes here. But right now, we're going to be on the Buffalo Chips property the full time during the rally. So once the rally starts on that Friday and runs to that next Saturday, we will be on their property the whole time. We may go off and have dinner with you or go out someplace, but not really going, and we're not going to be filming anything other than the Buffalo Chips events. And we have a reason for that. My reasoning is because I had no idea. We've been going out here for 12 to 15 years now, going to Sturgis off and on. Had no idea the Buffalo Chip until last year, all the crap they have going on. Sturgis could go away and the Buffalo Chip could still have events and people would still go to
Yeah,
it.
probably so.
It's not like Daytona. Daytona is different. Daytona is a weird crowd. It's different from anything else because Daytona is, you got your people that kind of hang out on Main Street, and that's all they do. Like one of the guys we stay with, he gets there every day at 9 o'clock in the morning, stays till 3 in the afternoon, and never leaves Main Street. Sits on his bike and just watches the crowd. Okay. Then you have other people that want to stay out there at the Cabbage Patch or Cackleberry and just party like there's no tomorrow. And then you got the other ones that just kind of ride around and they go down to Destination Daytona and see what's going on there. And they kind of just make a circuit. And then, and then you got all the other great places to go to. The Iron Horse. You got Broken Spoke. All kinds of neat stuff that you can do in Daytona. So it's a little bit different, and the riding just sucks. There really isn't any good riding anywhere in Florida. And that's one of the reasons we're not going back for the fall. A lot of people say that. Why aren't you coming back? Why aren't you coming back for the fall rallies? One, they're 4 or 5 days. They're not worth for us to travel that far, and the cost to get there and the cost to stay in places like this. It's not worth it to us.
Well, by the time we get a momentum going of that venue, it's over, and then we're on to the next one because they're back to back. It's this weekend or next weekend coming up is Myrtle Beach, and then right after that, Daytona, and right after that is Panama City. So it's bam, bam, bam. So it's nice for the vendors because they can do it and then go home and they're done until.
But they're not trying to find content. They're not doing anything like that. So it's plus there's a lot of things in Daytona. They don't have half the bars aren't going. Broken Spoke never does the fall rallies. Everybody keeps asking, why don't they have a list out? They don't do the rally. They only do the spring for the Broken Spoke. Iron Horse is open year round, And
Just the front part.
Yeah, just the front part, and then the back part's open during the 2 rallies. That's it. Destination Daytona will be about half the vendors that they normally have will be there. And after we've seen the 2, why go to something
half the size?
That's right. It's not the best. You want to do the best of the rallies, and that's kind of what we're looking to do next year. We're going to do Daytona. That'll be our first rally. We're probably going to see Leesburg and Panama City, but we're probably only going to do maybe a day. Panama City, I don't know if we'll do any time there. Leesburg will probably stop in for a day or so. Marcus invited us to stay with him if we wanted in his tent.
Leesburg, yeah.
And he'd put us up there if we wanted. So that's a possibility. We could leave the trailer, sit someplace, and go that way. How do you think? Entertain them.
They're entertaining me.
Have a chip.
I'm full. We got our special, I guess, that we normally get at Chili's. I love their enchilada soup. I'm a big soup person. I love soup. Only reason we went to Daytona was to make tour of honor sites. Florida A1A is nice, but yeah, the riding is a bore. Well, you can't see anything hardly because there's just so many. There's condos and then there's casinos and motels and hotels and Holiday Inns, and you can't really see the water. Just a little bit in between. Where the coast, I mean, when you guys see the videos that we're gonna do, it's just amazing. And I'm sure the videos aren't gonna do it justice. And that's what I kept telling him. I said we should do a ride and invite anybody that wants to come out. I said a month-long ride, but that's what it would be expensive because the hotels were not cheap. And so, you would have to, but I mean, at least a good week, just going up the coast because it's amazing. It's just unreal, the coast. And we had great weather. Like I said, we were going for 2 weeks. It sprinkled one evening, and then the next day it rained most of the day. Just a heavy drizzle. It wasn't really a downpour, but just enough to make it wet and yucky. But other than that, no, we've never done Burning Man. We've heard a lot about it, but we've never done it. And we weren't around at Cook's Corner, Ralph, either in the 90s to remember the 2 white Indian bikes and the people all dressed up as Indians. Go do Slab City. We've been out to Slab City. Been there, done that.
In the film. There's enough videos out there. So what we look at is we have a couple of weird videos where we're going to put up. We got an oddity video of weird things to see on our trip. Kind of did it on our second half at the time. Thought to be a lot more in California. Wasn't as many as I thought. Thought we might get some here in Vegas, but today really ain't done nothing. Just kind of ran around, got a haircut. She got some makeup.
And we did in the Ford rental car.
No. But you hear that story. That's good. We should get 100,000 views on mishaps
in a rental car. Oh my gosh.
A 2-week adventure. What does this thing keep popping up at the bottom of it?
It's my Spanish thing. I think it's that little duo guy.
I'm doing Spanish on my computer?
No. We've done it on this computer, but I think that's who he is. I can't see him quick enough.
So we do have some, in the next few weeks, we got some guests going to be coming on, some special guests, and going to be talking to you about their businesses, some about some campgrounds. We've got the people are going to be coming on. So we got some pretty neat things coming up. We're not going to announce who they are because it seems to be the more I talk about things, other people take my ideas before we get ours up. We see a few other YouTubers that have got a lot of footage that they're trying to get up. Welcome to the show. Everybody thinks this is a fun job and it's all this great stuff to do, and you go to these rallies and you have all this great fun, and then you got these great videos to
You'll
put
have
out.
to take us on some rides, Rod.
And they're like, I didn't realize how much work this is. That's right. It's which it is. There's way too many people already on YouTube to start with anyway, and not everybody's going to get
got
lucky.
COVID up there.
Who did?
The Wonder Hussy.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't realize how intense this is. And a lot of you do know. I'm not looking for sympathy, and I'm not looking for a pat on the back. But it's just when I watch a lot of these other YouTubers that are kind of trying to get big now, and they're all out here looking at different rallies, and they're showing up, and you're going to find out the same thing we did. You go to these 3 or 4 day rallies, especially now the rally is over and you're home now. You edit that thing in a couple of weeks or a month from now, people are going to go, what rally was that? Which I do.
So, I don't know how to say his name. Oh, I guess it's
Can't see.
Convict. Convict Take 100.
All
He
right.
says he checked out the KOA campgrounds and their cabins are cheap. He traveled across the country in 6 weeks and stayed there, and then they offer reward points.
Yeah. We've been on the KOA. I'm not a big KOA person because they just charge so much. But see, the bad thing with KOA is you've got, which is like a lot of the cabins, you got to bring your own sleeping bag. You know, if you're going to bring see, what's bad is she can't ride by herself anymore. And for one, she can't really go on long trips. I don't know if she'd be able to do a coastal trip or not. She might be able to. If we stop a lot, it's not so bad. But it's like here, when we did this ride, the last day we went, we rode in the car. It was 500 and something miles we rode the last day. We put over 3,000 miles in this rental car. I didn't get the exact mileage because we got a different car today. Wait, you hear what happened there? But we're not talking about it. So we return the car tomorrow. And then as soon as I get the video done, I don't know if I get, like I say, I got to put the water line in this weekend. So I don't know if I'm going to have a lot of time.
And you're also going to do you have to do your Patreon videos.
Yeah, but the Patreon ones are really easy. I'm just laying that crap on the line. I'm not, until I do the picture ones, it's going to take me more time.
We didn't climb it, but we were there. We took the guy some paint, but now he's dead. So I don't know who's doing it now. Love and Tam show, always my favorite to watch. We this poor rental car. I don't know. Rod says around like Akachuk spelling. Okay, Taryn. And awesome lunch beginning. Okay, Rod, you were going to take us for rides up in Laconia. So get your bike working. And when
he's still in trouble with his bike?
Well, he said he's redoing it now. He's redoing the whole bike. So he said he's going to go to Daytona, and he knows a bunch of great rides in Florida.
There you go.
So you're going to take us on at least one ride.
And so let's say we're probably going to go back and do rallies like we did before, because it seemed like the Sturgis rally here we just didn't do as good as I normally do. And I thought it'd be better to put out one video on each item. But it doesn't seem like people want that. People want to know a bunch of things, and then I guess they can choose what they want to do that day based on all the stuff we did that day before.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to go back to doing that at some of the rallies. I don't know.
We started watching him. He was probably one of the first ones we started watching, Bob Wells, Cheap RV Living.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were trying to figure out what we wanted to get.
We were thinking about getting a van, and I was thinking about buying a U-Haul truck and redoing that, and a whole bunch of stuff. Never going to buy a
So he always tells you different ways like to find internet and what he's got, his latest thing. And so, we watched him quite a bit. And then Russ from RV TV.
He's known. So these guys are hanging out down in Quartzside a lot.
Yeah. And those two do not see eye to eye. Russ and Bob.
Well, two different people.
Yeah.
And but I mean, we watch him too. We spent more time.
That guy is the nice guy, Traveling Robert, nicest guy in the world.
And all we got to do is if I put something on his live, hey, there's Bob and Tam. I seen them out, and he remembers every place we met him.
Yes.
And we met him in Tampa. And we've also met him out in Quartzside, and he's given me actually one of the cameras we have, my camcorder I have. I asked him about how he liked his, and he said, yeah, that's. So I don't use it as often as I like. It's a really slow moving, zoom in and out. And so it's great. Instead of when you do it in editing, it's not the same quality of video that you
lose a lot of quality. But if you do it with the camera, it's better. I don't know. He says he's making so much money now. He's giving away vans. I know he'll do that. Like yeah, they had a big get together in Quartzsite, and one of the girls was just got her van done or was just starting to do it.
Caught on fire.
And it caught on fire, and she lost everything.
And before she left, they got her a van. And I think he does a lot of stuff where people, like the rendezvous that he did, they get in there and people, and they all have a specialty. Like one guy might be a solar guy. So you tell him all the things you need, and then you buy the solar stuff, and they do all the work. And all these guys did different stuff. And the idea is you go and do something for somebody else. And whatever your trade is, or even if you're just somebody that, hey, I can't do anything, I can clean the mess up after they're done. That's something that somebody, that somebody else could be, I'm over here wiring something up for somebody, and I had somebody do my van, and you come in and help clean it all up when they get all done, clean the mess up. Then that saves me from when I get done working, I got to go over and clean my van. We thought about that. We still think about getting a van or something.
So Rod said he went up. You need to get together with Ryder X. He said he went up to northern Canada and came back, parked, came out in the morning. The engine grenaded, so now it's being rebuilt. It grenaded. Came out, morning engine grenaded. So I don't know if it blew up. That's what it sounds like to me. So yeah, you and Ryder X have some stories you could talk back and forth there. Ryder X said he had some trouble with his front forks. He's got new Owens. They redid the oil in them. It was up further. You were talking.
Who did that for you?
So Ryder X, you still on?
I didn't do it right.
You gotta watch. You go to try the sheds in Illinois. They're very cheap.
What's in?
The sheds. I don't know. Mark says try the sheds in Illinois. They are cheap. I don't know what he's trying to talk me into. RTTV has good videos. He uses his drone a lot. Yeah, he's got his own Roku channel now. So
we don't watch him as much. We don't really watch anybody really. I just thumb through videos when when I'm talking about some of these in general, like Adam Sandoval and some of these other people that are newbies that are kind of getting into the YouTube I think a lot of people look at us and think, we could do what they do. They're probably making a lot of money. If it wasn't for our retirement money, we'd be broke. And so yeah, if you're getting into YouTube to try to get rich off of this, you're going to be probably 1 in a million that get lucky and you get into that.
Bye, Mike.
The problem now is so many people are getting in, just like us. When we first started doing YouTube videos on Sturgis and motorcycle rallies, we were really the only one really doing stuff at the event. Most people waited till they got home. Now you get a lot of people now trying to do what we do. And one, we're way ahead of you. And it's, we've been doing this for a couple of years. It's kind of like trying to do what Adam Sandoval is doing. Or like some of you ones that have talked about Bob there, Bob Wells, and some of these. For me to go in there and do what he's doing, I'm years behind you. I could never catch up with the following that he has. And so you get that. Prime Cut Pro, same way. They got 920,000 people, and he's getting videos he's putting out with 100,000 views. I can't get that. I don't know if we'd ever be able to get to even 500,000. I don't know if we'll ever even make it to 100,000 subscribers or not. But it's just
we worked our butts off to get to 20.
We're so far behind everybody else that's ahead of you, and to try to catch up. We made a big jump. We've gotten to where we're at, and other people. Adams had a tough time here trying to get to his 10,000. He's finally at 10.2 or 9.2 now or something, and he's been struggling now for. He was kind of catching up to us. Now we're over 20,000, and we're doing all right. I think we're at 20,120 or 20,200 or something. I mean, we're really not putting videos out right now. We've done some shorts and some lives like this, and not really putting much content out. And
just the show.
So we got a lot of stuff that we're working on. We got the building videos. That's going to be.
We're hoping that'll take off.
Probably a year's worth of videos on the building alone. And then once we get, we're going to talk about the kind of rack that we're going to put into it. We'll probably get a lot more. I don't know. We're going to be buying a bunch of tools here. I got a new toolbox coming now, which won't be here till January 1st, which we probably won't talk about the toolbox till it arrives. But once the floor gets all painted, then we're going to put the sides up inside the garage. We're going to run the electric and the water and all that kind of stuff. And I may end up running the electric. If I end up putting plywood up, then we'll run the electric and the water. We'll build the 2x4 setup if I do 24-inch centers, and build that all up, drill the holes, run all the water and the electric and all that through the wall, run all that stuff, and then we'll put the paneling all up, and then we'll paint it all. And
sounds like a lot of work.
It is. And so we probably won't do a whole lot of. See, I'm one of these people, when I start doing stuff, it won't take very long to get all that done.
No, because he'll do it until it gets done, and it'll get done come hell or high water.
I'm not one of these guys, these guys that are procrastinators or whatever they call them?
Procrastinators.
Yeah, where they start on something and they've been working on it for 5 years. This will be done. The odds are, if everything works right, if I get the electric in, I will have the walls up, the electric done, the water done, everything will be ready to go. I may already start framing off my studio. I would love to have that done before we leave in February. So there's my challenge. I've got all of most of November. I don't think we got anything really planned in November to do.
Thanksgiving.
And December, I don't really have anything in December. January, we're starting to get busy because we're probably going to go to the Vegas, to the Mecum auction. We're probably going to spend
babysitting one weekend.
all
I don't know which
3
weekend.
days to that. If you've never, we're going to start talking about it. We got to get a hold of them and get the exact dates and get everything all set up. But if
Terry's
you,
not on either. Terry goes, I
it's a
think.
really
From
neat
Pennsylvania.
thing. If you want to see a lot of different bikes and get close to them and touch them and stuff, it's not like it's like being in a museum
And you,
it's,
you know
it's
where it
like a
says don't
playground.
touch? You know, you can look at it and sit on it and
Play
can't
with
turn it
and
on.
do all kinds of stuff. And it's like it's really neat. And so this year, after we found out how we deal with them, and other people might try to come, we're the only ones covering it as a YouTube channel. So you watch, there'll be a swarm of people probably be there this year because we're going to start talking about it all the way up until it starts in January. Come on out, I don't care. And because I don't know how long I'm going to do it. I don't know how long I'm going to do it. This year we're going to do it full blown in January, and we've already got a connection with the CEO and everything. So
in Texas,
we're pretty set for that. And so that's something we're going to do in January. February we'll be heading down to Daytona. We'll get there a little bit early. We don't know what we're not going to do. We're going to only work on Ormond Beach this year. We're not going to. We still do Main Street and stuff, but we're not going to talk to any officials. We can screw them. Not interested in the chamber. And nothing to do with Daytona. I could care less. We're going to deal with the chief of police. We're going to try to get a hold of the sheriff this year, like we tried last year. He wanted to talk to us, just couldn't get with us. Get with the sheriff.
I think
Get more with the Ormond City officials, because that's really where everything's going on at anyway. And we still want to see the pudding wrestling.
Yep, down in Edgewater.
And we'd like to spend a full day and an evening, a good evening at Cackleberry. I want to see how wild it really gets. And
I think you have to be back. I think it's in the campground.
I mean, you can go anywhere you want there. It's not like you can't go in the campground. So I don't know. We'll see how that all goes. That's kind of the things. And then, like I say, we'll probably do.
Because that first year we went there, they gave us wristbands to get in, and they didn't do that this last year.
Didn't ask.
That's true.
We didn't talk to the guy that was the manager of it and all that like we did last time. We're more involved with it the first year. This year we tried to do things a little different, and Daytona did really good. We did really good YouTube-wise. We did really good this spring in Daytona. The other videos didn't really do so hot. Myrtle Beach was okay, and that's the reason we booked Myrtle Beach again. I'm not a big Myrtle Beach guy. No matter, sorry, Steven, but I'm not a Myrtle Beach guy. It's just not, Suck Bang Blow and the Beaver Bar and all that's a lot of fun down there, but that's where it kind of ends at. The dealership kind of sucks. They don't really have much for vendors. The promotion lady is kind of a pain in the ass, and so it's like, I don't know. It is what it is. And
when you're going to retire, Paulie P, in 2 years? There's 2 years left of this crazy. Hang in there, everybody. I know. I don't know.
How long have we been on?
1 hour and 17 minutes.
We're going to do about an hour tonight.
Yeah.
So, we have any real questions you guys would like to ask? Our stupid motel we got, the hot tub closes at 8 o'clock.
And we haven't been in it yet. And that was a fiasco, too.
Every place we've been, the hot tub's been broke.
Yes. Yeah, but
or it's been outside to where it's 60 degrees or 50 degrees. And
the hot tub's going to be nice, but to get from the hot tub back inside.
So it's 91 here. What do you think about temperature?
I love it. That's my kind of temperature.
It's about 73 this morning. Humidity's a little higher than when it's windy today. Very windy. The news said this morning, there's very little wind. Looks like a hurricane out here. That's what I say. If you people ever, people that come from Florida and stuff, if you ever come out here to Nevada or like where we live in Arizona, and you see our 60 to 70 mile an hour winds we have in a normal day, you're like, holy crap. That's right. This is like, we're like in a hurricane year round here in
well, that's what I said. We have 2 seasons. We have hot and we have windy. That's it. And if you can't ride your bike because it's too darn hot in the summer, and you can't ride it in the winter because you'll fall over because it's so darn windy.
Even in Southern California, when you get out to Death Valley and stuff, it's windy out there too. Mm-hmm. There was time when we were almost touching the ground.
Trying to stay straight up because the wind was blowing so hard. Spell check won't let me type the auction name.
Oh, Meekum.
I'm talking about the current residents on Pennsylvania. I know.
And make sure you get on vote. Yeah. Everybody has a right to vote, and quit listening to the stupid TV commercials. That's your first mistake.
Yeah. Do your own research on the people.
Don't listen to. Doesn't matter what party you're for. When you watch these stupid commercials, you can see where they take out little snippets of what this person says. First of all politicians are crooks, no matter who they are. They're all out for themselves. But the idea is to try to pick somebody that's not going to abuse is as bad as what we've been going through here. Remember, the virus is over.
It's about chest deep in Laughlin. I don't think it's always really shallow right there by the riverside.
No, it can be deeper out there.
I don't know.
You can't walk across.
They wanted to know if there was any water left in the Colorado River.
We're just out there boating. It's Labor Day weekend. Had plenty of water, which is really weird because actually they said Lake Mead went up. Now, we didn't get time to go out there. We're not going to have time to go out there this trip. Maybe when we come back next week, we'll have a chance to ride out to Lake Mead and take a look around. But because we're going to be here 2 days more, we'll be here all day Sunday. So nobody wants to come out to Vegas?
I don't know. And Mitch and Diana, they said they might come up. And I don't know. Mike said he had to get off too. He would be the only one I would think would come up too. Maybe Mohawk Mike. He's not on either. So Ralph said he boondocked for a month at LV Harley Davidson dealership. So one night the cops came and said it wasn't the owner because he's a he, not a she. And called and said she wanted to kick him out. So I guess he was up there in his van.
But you can boondock out at Lake Mead. There's a whole bunch of places out there you can stay for free.
Yep.
And you just got to pay to get in there. And if you come at the right time, ain't nobody out there anyway.
Chains up. Yep. So I don't know. 61. Are you done? I don't think anybody else said anything. You wanted to know about the IMS show in February. Harley One Forever said, he's going to go to Hog Rock on October 6th to the 9th. So that's the wild one in Illinois, I think.
That's what we hear.
And then they asked about the garage, so you said about that. The 90s out at Cook's Corner, we weren't there in the 90s. We started going probably about 2004 or 5. And then when Vegas was having a bike.
Well, we talked to the dealers today. Actually, one more dealer I got to talk to here, Las Vegas dealer, and said, you guys should get together and do your own event. Behind Las Vegas Harley Davidson, they got a big old giant stage there. They could have bands and all the entertainment there. They could have out at Red Rock Harley, they could have all the vendors. And then over at Henderson Harley, they could do the bike shows in the back.
Bike shows and the bike washes and stuff like that.
And I think that would be a really in there that somewhere both of them in Henderson and Red Rock all said sound like a good idea. I just got to get them all together. It's the same owner. Just got to get them all together to say.
And I think the owner's really cool. He says,
whatever.
Your shop.
Well, he just bought it on the dealership. Holy crap!
I think he's had it.
Why didn't they tell us about it?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't we stop by there?
Well, we'll ask Tony next time we talk to him. So here's our group page if anybody wants to get on. If you have any information on Sturgis that you want to throw up there from years past or coming up, put it on there. If somebody's got a question.
They got a robot.
What's it doing?
It's delivering food.
Is it really?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Rita.
Here, take your thing off and show them. Can you reach it that far?
Girls in the way.
So it came out and brought the food.
There it goes.
Oh, hello.
Will it talk to you?
What's her name, Rita?
Hi, Rita. She's going back. Food runner.
That's pretty cool. How about that?
What a way to end the show.
Yeah, you don't see that every day. I know we go into Sam's now, and when you go into Sam's, they always have that thing cleaning, and I like to stand in front of it to see if it'll go around me. One of these days, just go run me over.
Just clean you up. Because you're a little too dirty.
You think? Oh, I don't know where I was at now. I've been retired. I think here's Mark. Did I get this one? Retirement is the job I've been looking for my whole life. Yeah, I know. That's what he said. He's been 3 years now, and he says he hasn't regretted it once. Since I've known the Las Vegas owner, tell him that you know me and to let me boondock there.
Well, it's a different one now. It's all owned by one guy. He actually lives in Kingman, Arizona.
Yeah,
is where the owner is. But I didn't realize that he hasn't owned it all along. That even the one on the strip here, he didn't own it originally. Mm-hmm. That we found that out today. Yeah. And I thought the last owners had it for quite a while. But he's a really great guy, too.
Yeah, he's a good guy. We do have quite a few dealers that are
decent.
Yes.
That's what we always tell people. If you're looking for someplace to buy a Harley or you don't know where to go, email us. Let us know what you're looking for and what you want somebody. And what we do is the couple things that I look at when I look at a dealership is one, I watch these dealers when they talk to people.
I know.
When they try, if somebody walks in the front door, how do they approach them? Are they high pressure? Oh, what are you looking at? How much can you pay a month? What do you got? And they go crazy. Are they just saying, hey, how's it going, dude? Anything we can do for you today? They're more laid back. And we like that. I like somebody that's not going to sell you something, because I'm one of these people too that I don't like to buy something impulse. I like to think about it. I like to make a decision on what we're going to do.
This price is only good for the next 2 hours.
Today, yeah.
Buy it or get out,
And it's like, screw you. If it's going to be that great of a deal,
and the other thing, and if they don't have prices on them, we don't ask. Yeah. We just walk out.
Most time, if that means they change the price depending on who you are and what they think about you. And it's like, screw that.
That's the first time I ever saw that.
So we look for that. We also look for people. Now, I don't do a lot. I don't have a lot of my bike work done at the bike dealerships. I've had pretty much warranty work done. I've had some oil changes and stuff like that done. I've had brakes. I don't normally buy my tires. I don't normally have most of my warranty, or most of my work on my bike is not done at a dealership. One, I just don't want to spend the extra money. And, well, for a long time, I did my own oil changes. I did all 3 oil changes myself. I did a lot of my service on my 01 and my 09. I did myself. The Ultra here is the first time I took it in and had a battery put in, because I opened up, took the seat off, I looked down and said, holy crap, where the hell's the battery at? I take half the freaking bike apart to put the battery in. And when I called a couple places in town where we live, nobody really had a battery in stock, and I really didn't want to put a Walmart battery in it. So when I called a dealer, they said, oh, we only charge, $50 to put the battery in, and the battery was like $200 and something or whatever it was. I'm like, okay, that ain't too bad. I'll just come out there. And they said, yeah, if you come out here now, we're not too busy. We can throw it right in for you. And they did. And Art was out there that time, and we were getting ready to go on a ride. And I had to jump the bike to get it to start. So I thought, that's time for a battery. And last time I got the battery.
You're very patient like him when it comes to making a purchase?
Yeah.
Just
like my gauges. Yes. I've been waiting
15 years.
Yeah, for my digital gauges. Now, what I just got else put in my bike, which I haven't done the video on that yet too. We had one more last thing that we got, a major expense in Sturgis to fix another problem, not a running problem. Well, the problems that I've had with the bike, I could have kept riding in both instances. So when a lot of people say, man, you probably should have traded your bike and you should have got rid of it and all that, the ticket noise that I had in it, I probably could have rode it, who knows, maybe forever, and never would have got any worse. We never really seen anything. So there was a little marking on the lifter, but it was just the finish that was on it was just taken off. There wasn't any flat spots or anything like that on it, so it could have lasted a long time more. So the compensator, same thing with the compensator. It could have lasted me a long time. I've had trouble since the day I bought that bike shifting it into neutral. So there could have been something wrong with that compensator from the factory. So I've rode it for 20,000, 25,000 miles like that. And that's the way it's been. So a couple things. One, I wanted to have on my bike, before I even had the ticking noise, I wanted to change out the oil pump. I wanted to put in the solid gears, the cam gear. I wanted to put a solid one in, get rid of that chain. I wanted to, so those are two things I wanted to do no matter what. Because and the easy start lifters make the bike, when it gets really hot, you don't get that drag on it when it starts. Because I did that on my 09 and I really liked it. Performance-wise, the bike's got a little bit more oomph at around 2,000 RPM now. I got to give it a little more gas to take off and stuff. It already was a 110, so I only gained a couple horsepower. The torque a couple there too. I didn't gain anything, but I wasn't looking to gain anything. So when people say, well, you probably should have just got a different bike. There's nothing really wrong. Now, there's a few things. I still got to get the heated grips fixed. I got to order those handlebars, and we're going to try to see if Avon will give me some heated grips for a video. And that would take me about $400 from buying the Harley-ass ones, and put them on there. And other than that, there really isn't anything else wrong with the bike. It runs good, runs fine. I thought the clutches, actually, it wasn't the clutch disc itself, it was the spacers in between had more wear on them, which was kind of weird. And that's, when they looked at it, they're like, that's weird. And so I don't know. So we'll see how all that goes. The compensator, we still have to adjust the chain a little bit more. It clunks a little bit when we're riding down the road. It sounds like you got like but they're very sensitive. We had an issue, which I'm not going to talk about tonight. We'll talk about it another time. That we had an issue when they were putting it back together, and they had to take it completely apart again. And we'll talk about that in another video. It wasn't really their fault. It was just something weird happened. And so we'll talk about it. But when they put it
They've
back
never
together,
seen it happen before, and
Yeah.
they had to call a few people to figure out what the
why it
problem,
wouldn't do it.
what the issue
you might
was.
have to, that was the question. When they got it all back together, the clutch wouldn't pull in.
So what do you think that was?
What would you do? And everything was installed properly. I'll leave you at that. There was nothing wrong with the clutches. There was nothing wrong with all of the assembly. Everything was put together perfectly, but you could not pull the clutch in. You could shift it without the clutch, but you could not. What was wrong with it? Comments. Don't put it on here. Put it in the real comments
Yeah.
down at the bottom after we get off.
All right.
You know what that is. You let me know or email me. Either way, you can email me if you don't want anybody to know. And we'll talk about it. And we'll call them up. Maybe I'll have them come on and,
Oh, yeah,
and
explain what happened.
explain what that was, because I probably wouldn't explain it quite what caused it. I think what I think caused it, what happened in the situation, but I think they could explain it better because somebody told them what to check, and then when they did it, they were like, "Holy crap!" And
Never
they
had
all
that
three of them
happen.
looked at each other and said,
Never had that
"I've never
happen
seen
before.
that happen before." So we'll leave it at that.
But as far as, would you get another Man of War compensator?
So far, I'm pretty happy with it. I love being able to shift it to neutral. It's so easy now. I just click, bang, it's right there every time. I can feel it shift a little bit different too. I just gotta get that chain adjusted up. They told me when I got it, that's why
Real noisy.
the Man of War guy was there. He wanted to make sure it was put on 100% right. Well, they did it the very first time. He watched
Perfect.
everything and they made sure everything was perfect. Well, I think when they put it the second time back together, I don't think anybody was watching.
He looked at it. He was watching.
I don't think it was as picky because I didn't even see him over there with the ruler and checking everything exactly. So I need to pull the cover off. Either I'm going to do it myself. It just needs to tighten the chain up just a little bit because it was a whole lot quieter the first time they started it up than it is now. Because sometimes people look at us when we pull up to a stop sign and you hear it sounds like there's rocks in it. And when going down the highway, you don't hear it.
Yeah.
But when you come to a stop, you hear it. It sounds like there's nuts and bolts inside that engine that are rattling around. And there's no damage being done. The oil's clean as can be. They're just known to be noisy. And that was one of the things that Speeds was concerned about me getting it.
Is
And
a
I
Man
said,
of War rebuildable? I think
yes. It is one of the only compensators I think you can rebuild it. You can buy new rubbers and
just
put
the
in it.
little parts. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever's
And they
gone
said,
bad.
If you watch the video, he explains all that, and at the end he talks about how you only need to just check it every time
Here you go, Rod.
because it is. That's one of the things we should have Speed come back on and talk about. Like in Racer X, you got a one
Rider X.
Racer X, Rider X. Thinking of Speed Racer there. And if you got any kind of performance on your bike, you really upped it like he did. He's got a 128 in there now, 131. You need a better compensator. You're going to tear your transmission out. And that's what happens to a lot of people. They don't realize that what are you doing with all that torque? It's going to the transmission. And the only thing you got there to save it is that compensator. So if the compensator is already crap from the factory, not that good of quality. I have never had the two bikes. Never had a problem. Never had anybody ever recommend
Even
a
looked at it, thought about it.
Yeah. So not saying that, but
Didn't even know there was one on a bike.
But they said that they are known to be weak and bad. All right, wrap it up. I gotta go.
So thanks
Too
for
much tea.
hanging out with us tonight. We're glad you were all on. Everybody stay safe. Hopefully we'll see you at some of these rallies. We'll get some work done on the garage and we'll get some videos up. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Share us with your family and friends. Think about Patreon. Give us a big thumbs up. Ring that bell for notifications. And we'll see you on the next video. Everybody have a good night. We'll see you soon. Bye.